Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahushai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahushai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahushai, Kol Haloyim, Adonai Yahweh, Bahashim Shalom Halak Yahushai, Bahashim Kakadash, double honors to the apostles and the elders, great millstone, peace and salutations to the hopeful elect, Habayah Shalom Halak Dabadah, House of King David, and to the fusion of faces that look like these heathen nations, but their identity goes back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the royal holy chosen seed line. Shalom. This lesson is going to be about wild beasts changing their places, and I got a couple articles and a few more scriptures to bring out. Adon Ratazal, you Akim and Akwafiyama will be edified. So it says, 2nd Ezra 5 and 8, there shall be a confusion also in many places, and the fire shall be off, sent out again, and the wild beasts shall change their places. Alright, the menstruous woman that shall bring forth monsters, that's talking about a different topic. It's kind of like two topics in one, but they should have just made another scripture for that, for the menstruous woman part. But I'm just focusing on the wild beasts changing their places. Now this article says, as coronavirus restrictions empty streets around the world, wildlife roam into cities, and you see like now animals coming from the jungles and from the forests to the cities now, and from some of them are escaping the zoos as well. Some of them have been escaping the zoos before, this coronavirus thing happened. There's some reported cases of that. And, these animals, they're starting to gather in groups. Some of them leaving by themselves, to go out in the cities, and then some of them are gathering in groups to leave. And there's been pictures and videos like spreading around the internet about this. It says, as people across the world remain indoors to slow the spread of coronavirus, animals are taking over empty streets. Peacocks stroll the streets of Ronda, Spain. A gang of goats wander around a seaside town in North Wales. A puma climbs down from the Andes Mountain in Santiago, Chile, and coyotes trot around San Francisco. While some animals are curiously wandering or enjoying the quiet, others are going hungry because tourists aren't handing out treats. You know what happens when animals are, when wild animals are hungry? You know, they're gonna start attacking people very soon, and that's a judgment. But let me just finish this article so I could get to that. Um, Let me see. It says, as people across the world remain indoors to slow the spread of coronavirus, animals are taking over empty streets. Okay, I already read that part. Human presence will typically keep such wildlife from roaming, but billions of people are inside, socially isolating themselves under the direction of health and government officials. Businesses and restaurants are shuttered, and the once bustling streets and tourist havens are silent. While some animals are curiously wandering or enjoying the quiet, others are going hungry because they've become dependent on tourists who feed them treats. For instance, mobs of macaques in Thailand that are used to getting fed by visitors must now fend for themselves. Many have resorted to brawling in empty streets in a desperate search for food. And those macaques are like those are like Japanese snow monkeys. There are some very wild animals. And monkeys already are, pretty fierce animals. They could, even a capuchin monkey could scratch you up and cause a lot of damage. Remember that chimpanzee that ripped that lady's face off? So, macaques are almost like they almost have the strength of a chimpanzee, and they're like Japanese snow monkeys, but they look like baboons, and baboons are also very dangerous wild monkeys. So they're nothing to be played with. And monkeys have pretty much like a lot of them are like around that size, and a macaque has the strength to really like pretty much do damage to your face and rip your skin. It says the Sika Deer in Nara Park, a popular tourist destination in Japan, heavily relied on the thousands of tourists that feed them rice crackers, but the park is now empty and the deer have been gone searching around the city for food at risk of getting hit by cars or swallowing plastic garbage. Trinity Square in Llandu- Llandudno, North Wales. And like I said, food and water is like the stability of the human mind. So just imagine, you know, when a famine hits, how these animals are gonna start acting. If people are gonna be going crazy, because there's I even saw that there's I'm gonna do a video, another lesson on that there's famines are low key happening because crops farmers are not producing as much food. They're throwing away a lot of food due to this coronavirus thing, this pandemic. It says a wild deer is Trincomalee, Sri Lanka, coyote in San Francisco, a wild pig and dogs in the streets of Ajmer, Rajasthan, India, a jackal in a park in Tel Aviv, Israel, wild dogs in the streets of Kolkata, India, peacocks walk the streets of Ronda, Spain, monkeys in New Delhi, India, a coyote in Los Angeles, monkeys take over sidewalk in Lopburi, Thailand, pigeons in Puerto Rico, Sika deer in Japan. Wow. And it says in the book of Sirach, um, let's start at um 39 verse 27. It says all these things are good for the godly, are good to the godly, so to the sinners they are turned into evil. These be spirits that are created for vengeance, which in fury lay on sore strokes. In the time of destruction they pour out their force and appease the wrath of him that made them. Fire and hail and famine and death, all these were created for vengeance. Teeth of wild beasts and scorpions, serpents, and the sword punishing the wicked to destruction. They shall rejoice in his commandment, and they shall be ready upon earth. When need is, and their time is come, they shall not transgress his word. So yeah, these beasts that's roaming the earth around, they're doing it all around the world because of this coronavirus pandemic. And then very soon it's gonna come to a point in time when these beasts are gonna, when a famine hits, these beasts are gonna be hungry, eating people. And they're gonna come after these 2/3 and these devils and heathens. They're gonna, come after them and start, devouring them in packs. They might, and like I said, they're gonna have a lot of left hand side evil spirits like hopping on them, you know, hopping in their mind to like start, attacking people. So you're gonna see attacks, like you're gonna see, swarms of birds, like there was a movie, there was a horror movie called Birds, and they will be pecking people's face and their eyes out and all that shit and killing people left and right. You know, you see dead bodies all around. They're gonna be feeding on the dead bodies, leaving back only the skeletons. Probably they might even bite on some of the skeletons. That's how hungry they might be in that day. So yeah, so this whole pandemic thing, which was caused by this devil Esau, the so-called white man. He's really pushing the agenda, um, of his new world order, but it's through the will of the Most High that he's doing these things. Because, like I said, he's a weapon stick for the Most High on the left hand side. Um, okay, found a couple of scriptures just from the as a form of like judgment for like these 2/3 and heathens. Um, found a scripture for them. It says mostly in Jeremiah that 7:33. You know, judgments of beasts and animal and the fowls of the air are pretty much in Jeremiah because these stuff already happened in the past and it's gonna happen again. That's how good these scriptures are. They make their comebacks with their prophecies. Even if some of them happen already, it's gonna happen again. And some prophets made future prophecies that didn't happen yet. That's gonna happen in this side because this is the last, kingdom that we're, you know, that we're in right now, which is Esau's kingdom. So it says in Jeremiah 7:33, and the carcasses of this people shall be meat for the fowls of the heaven and for the beasts of the earth, and none shall fray them away. Jeremiah 15:3, and I will appoint over them four kinds, saith the Lord, the sword to slay, and the dogs to tear, and the fowls of the heaven, and the beasts of the earth to devour and destroy. Um, says Jeremiah 16:4, they shall die of grievous deaths, they shall not be lamented, neither shall they be buried, but they shall be as dung upon the face of the earth, and they shall be consumed by the sword and by famine, and their carcasses shall be meat for the fowls of heaven and for the beasts of the earth. And I will make void the counsel of Judah and Jerusalem in this place, and I will cause them to fall by the sword before their enemies, and by the hands of them that seek their lives, and their carcasses will I give to be meat for the fowls of the heaven and for the beasts of the earth. So yeah, don't be surprised very soon when you see in these end times where people are getting eaten by animals left and right. But if you're a believer, Yahweh Shem Yashai, and you repent of your ways, of your wicked ways, he will have mercy on you, and he will allow that animal to pass by you, even if that animal's hungry. It's kind of like how Daniel in the lion's den, you know, you may even see a known beast like, maybe Bigfoot or Sasquatch, same, those are the same, or like Chupacabra or Jersey Devils out here. But I'll do a video on that, specifically, but, you know, because they do have like unknown beasts as well. But yeah, very soon in these end times, we're gonna see a lot of beasts, like a lot of them be changing their places right now, and it's starting because of this coronavirus. Very soon, when the food cuts short, these beasts are gonna come out here and start killing people left and right. Yeah, and they're mostly gonna go after these people that have been working in the zoos and stuff like that, abusing the animals. You think the Most High is not gonna have a judgment for anybody that does wicked? Hmm. He's gonna get them, because it says in the scriptures that a judgment, just because a judgment is not executed speedily, in Ecclesiastes, like roughly paraphrasing, you know, because judgment is not executed speedily, that's when the people be doing their wickedness. But the Most High, like, he could have you doing something, and he come back and judge you the next 5 years or next decade or so. So, a lot of people think that they're gonna get away with it with all the shit that they're doing. And animals are gonna be real pissed off when they start breaking out the zoos, because there's gonna be a time where power grids go out, and all of them are gonna be breaking out the zoos. So that's what's gonna happen. Looking, even from the scriptures that I read about Jeremiah, with the judgment that animals will start doing, they have movies like where they be making that judgment too. Like there's a movie called like Zombies, where animals have become they have become like sick with an infectious disease, and they acting like zombies, and they coming out attacking people left and right. You know, but I mean that's a judgment for people anyway, because I see a lot of people abusing animals sometimes, and I love animals pretty much, and this world could be like a good place if this devil would have just supported like more, like having more animal like facilities for animals to like for like for poor animals to support wildlife and nature. But instead this devil wants to destroy nature, and he wants to and that's the reason why animals are starting to increase with their judgment now. It says why U.S. birds attack on humans are on the rise. It says bird attacks on humans are growing more common as people continue to encroach on bird nesting territory, wildlife experts warn. I don't know, it's mostly happening to these Edomites, because they're the ones that mostly like to go and cut down trees, and they like to, which the Bible tells you that there's a law not cutting down, that you're not supposed to cut down trees that bear fruit. But it says Mary Heeman was walking her dog around a lake in downtown Denver, Colorado, in late July when a bird started flying uncomfortably close to her head. Before she knew that what was happening, the bird body slams you in the back of the head, flies around you frantically, and goes back in the bush. She told the Denver Post. It's funny, she said. It's just startling when it happens. It's not funny when these birds come in swarms and start pecking your eyes out and start eating the flesh of your skin while you're alive and start scratching you up with their talons because they're gonna dead start doing that shit when the famine hits. Andrea Jones, the director of bird conservation for the California chapter of environmental organization National Audubon Society, says attacks are definitely rising. The increase we're seeing is because we're encroaching on bird habitats, so there are more bird-human interactions, she says. Most of the incidents arise when birds are trying to raise their young. Nesting birds are very defensive on their chicks like a mama bear, she says, and will even attack animals much larger than themselves. Hmm. So they will have no problem attacking humans. It shows you right there. Because there's animals that's 3 times the size of humans. So you best believe that. Dermis Jones time studying common terms on a beach island in Massachusetts. She was frequently attacked by a noisy dive-bombing squawking swarm and took to wearing a hat with plastic flowers attached, since birds typically attack the highest part of their target. Ornithologists that study raptors and other birds of prey sometimes wear construction hard hats when checking nests for chicks. See, look, the Alfred Hitchcock film, Birds. Just like I've been saying. In that movie, they were going crazy. The niggas were targeting those Edomites, and that's really judgment on these Edomites because they be abusing animals. That's what they fucking get. They fucking chop, they could chomp on your fucking eyeballs out and fucking up your skin, pulling out your hair with their teeth. They're gonna do all that shit. Biting your nose off. They're gonna come all on you like a swarm of bees. So joggers in the Denver, Colorado have been waving their arms above their heads as they run in order to prevent their scalps from being strafed by red-winged blackbirds. It's also a problem outside the U.S. A man from Prestatyn in Wales was told by his town council to put up umbrellas after he asked the government how to prevent seagulls attacking around his home. Crow attacks have grown so frequent in Vancouver, British Columbia, that one repeated victim started a website called Crow Tracks for people to report violent incidents. Like if that's gonna stop the judgment of Yahweh Shem Yashai from working on you. But we continue. Just about everybody has an example of crow attack. Developer Jim O'Leary told the Wall Street Journal his website has tracked more than 5,000 reports, and he has noticed a slight increase in this past year. And you best believe it's going to increase more. After a postal carrier was repeatedly attacked by a famed crow known as Canuck, Canada stopped delivering mail to several homes in Vancouver, citing the danger to its employees. Canuck the crow halts postal deliveries, use umbrella to avoid seagull attacks. During Australia's swooping season, Aussies share tips for how to avoid being attacked by a magpie, including wearing an empty tube of ice cream on your head with eyes drawn on in hopes of confusing the birds. Some people glue googly eyes or aluminum strips to their bike helmets to ward off attacks. So people got to do mad work to just protect themselves from, from birds. Like I said, you got these very soon. Most High's gonna unleash. There's gonna be birds that people thought that didn't exist, like thunderbirds. Um, yeah, they're gonna be coming out and attacking people too, snatching people up to the skies. Yeah, they got birds that size too. Like I said, I'll do a lesson on that when I'm talking about the unknown beast. But um, yeah. Okay, now this is the last article I'm gonna bring out. It says dogs attacks increasing in Masterton during lockdown in April 30, 2020. The other article I read was just last year, and it said it was increasing um since the past year. So Just imagine how much you're increasing now because of this lockdown, and people just going outside just to you know to buy food or whatever. But it says report from LDR: an increase in dog attacks in Masterton since the COVID-19 lockdown has led to call for common sense from the district council's environmental leader. 3 people have suffered attacks from dogs in the last 2 weeks, and one dog has been put down. Terry Mulligan, Masterton District Council's Environmental Services Manager, said that there have been 12 incidents in the last 2 weeks of March compared to 2 in the same period last year. In one case, a woman required medical treatment for minor injuries after an attack. The dog had been involved in similar incidents and had been euthanized with the agreement of the owner. The other incident saw a policeman bitten and a third person receive a minor graze that did not require medical treatment. Owner must ensure that dogs are secure at home at all times, Milligan said. During the lockdown, she urged dog walkers to keep pets on a lead at all times, including in off-lead areas. Mulligan said the incidents were frustrating for animal services staff who were trying to avoid contact with people outside their bubble during a lockdown. More people are out exercising their dogs as a result of the lockdown, and it's essential dogs are kept on leads when they're being walked, even in the area designated as off lead. We've also had instances of dogs being walked on leads past properties where dogs have not been secure, and that has resulted in incidents. In a lot of cases, it is as simple as ensuring gates are closed. Lucas said it was about common sense and owners being responsible for their animals when their dogs are on and off the property. Even when there is not an actual attack, these incidents are frightening and distressing for people who are already under a lot of stress. It can also put unnecessary pressure on medical veterinarian services. Several owners have had to seek treatment for their pets. Over the same period, neighboring Carterton District Council has had no reports of incidents. It's very pleasing to see Carterton people are doing the right thing and keeping their dogs under control, Council Chief Executive Jane Davis said. So yeah, expect these animal attacks to increase a lot more because, especially to these people that have been abusing animals and, you know, the zookeepers and these other Edomites that like to experiment, these white devils that like to experiment on, these poor animals because there have been animal experiments that they've been doing all around the world, and that shit, like seeing that shit really gets me tight. And I'll do a video on that because, some of it is pretty disturbing, but it's like, damn, y'all abusing animals like that, and animals got to go through this pain of being, they're not supposed to be used as the to abuse, just to entertain people and just to just to use them as money as a they're not no show freaks or anything. These animals are supposed to be meant to be like, you know free, and they're supposed to be, and even if you keep it as a some of them that are domestic, you keep them as a pet, you're not supposed to like abuse them to like to do all these tricks and stuff like that. you know that's why they're soon gonna most high is gonna really increase, you know a lot of these attacks, and he's gonna put a lot of evil spirits on their minds to really, especially when a famine hits, to really like come together with other animals and fuck people up. Yeah. So, and it's gonna be so much to the point where the police can't do barely anything about it. So, yeah, it's gonna be like those horror movies that you see where animals having, animals coming as a, herds and swarms of, animals and birds. They're gonna come together and really start, they might even work together too to really start killing people as well. Like they might even work with different animals too to break through people's homes and really start tearing people up. But hope I made that lesson edifying. I like to give all glory, praises, honor to Adonai Yahweh, Bashem Shamalak Yahweh Shai, Bashem Kakadash, double honor to the apostles and the elders, great millstone, peace salutations to the hopeful elect. Yahweh Bashem Yashai, Shalak Rayam, Adawam Yam, Abad Wa Abad Babal, Shalom.